It is a truth universally acknowledged that a homeowner in possession of a sunny yard must be in want of shading. Hi everyone, if you're thinking of building or renovating, then this is the place to be. I am Nikki and tonight we'll be talking all things exterior sunshades. I'll be showing you examples of baffles, shutters, awnings, screens, and of course, good old plants. I will also be showing you some really cool sun studies of each of these different types. The great news is all of these options I'm going to be talking about tonight can be done on a new home or an existing one. I must confess, I consider curtains of little import, especially to a homeowner who has blinds and baffles. They are usually fixed vertical posts or fins. They can be attached to the windows, walls, or on the edge of patios and verandas. I have to say they're not used much residentially outside of apartments and townhouses, and they are often overlooked. The major benefits of them are they're set and forget, they're usually low maintenance because they are fixed in place and typically made of durable materials. They do provide a nice modern aesthetic, especially when you consider the shade changes throughout the day. And they don't obstruct views from the inside as much as other shade options. Unfortunately, they can be hard to place correctly in order to get maximum effectiveness through sun shading. So typically you would do a sunshade analysis because once you install them, that's where they are. Another problem is you can't adjust them to suit the seasons or time of day. They usually also work on blocking some of the sun, but not all of it. So the heat can still get into your house. So if you're using them for energy efficiency, maybe use them in conjunction with something else or pick something else on this list. Another thing is you normally don't see them on ground floors of dwellings, simply because they can be run into, especially if you are a child or a big child. Overall, baffles can be really good if you use them with other options. As you can see in this situation, we have some baffles on the edge of the patio. And if we remove the baffles, we can see these windows are no longer shaded from the afternoon sun. I really like baffles because they are excellent at adding an architectural feature that is actually useful, not just pretty. You know, some people take a like for granted. I, on the other hand, do not. If you are enjoying this content and wish to see more, please click. We appreciate your assistance. The more I see of the world, the more I am dissatisfied with its lack of stylish shutters. When I talk about shutters, I think most people would think of these, which is correct. These are shutters. But shutters actually come in all different shapes, sizes, profiles, and materials. Ultimately, a shutter is an exterior casement or awning style set of panels that can be open or shut. Now that is the key here. They can be left in either position and usually locked from the inside, protecting the window from the outside. You can get adjustable louver options, both manual and electric, but you can also get roller exterior shutters with a drum mount, usually hidden within the housing. Some of the great things about shutters are they come in lots of designs, shapes, colours, material options. You can also get wind locks and security locks for added safety, especially in cyclonic areas, which is great if you're trying to protect your windows. Some shutters also have partially open options where the panels can be lowered the whole way, but then have strips of ventilation holes so they can be left open or completely closed. This gives added privacy, security, and energy efficiency to your windows while letting some air and light in. Overall, shutters can be reasonably adaptable depending on which profile you go with, which style. They can be connected to smart home systems, potentially automating the whole process for you. They can be excellent for privacy or even sound insulation if you have some good seals and locks. And they are relatively easy to maintain if they are on the ground floor or on patios or balconies. Unfortunately, they can look a little bit ugly depending on where your housing sits if you're going with a roller door. And to get the full benefit of energy efficiency, you would need to close the shutters completely, which of course does restrict your views and airflow. And they are not really suited to inaccessible first or second story floors because of the maintenance required. But overall, if security and energy efficiency are your priority over aesthetics and airflow, then shutters work really, really well, especially roller shutters. But if you need to shade inaccessible windows, I suggest looking at other options or combinations of options. Awnings go over the top of windows and doors and can be fixed, retractable, solid, perforated, metal, UPVC, fabric, manual, or electric, but they're usually fabric. Awnings are effectively creating a purpose-built eave over the top of a window or door. If you are using fixed awnings, they are a great low maintenance option, especially if you use them with vertical baffles to eliminate some of the guesswork regarding sun shading and orientation. The further out the awning, the more it will shade the window, as you can see with these options here. If you are using adjustable, louvered, retractable options, then you can get the added benefits of adaptability. They can look traditional or modern depending on the style and design you choose, and they can be quite a cost-effective option, especially if you're using fabric. Unfortunately, they don't do much for security or privacy. You might also be restricted on how far out you can protrude from your building, depending on your setbacks and where your building is situated. And not all awnings cover the whole window, meaning you wouldn't get as much energy efficiency benefit as other more expensive options. Retractable and fabric options would be harder to maintain at higher levels and are more prone to mold and debris, particularly if you have trees nearby. And they're not really suited for cyclonic or high wind areas unless they are fixed and metal. But if you need a short-term cost-effective solution for just a few windows, then a fabric awning that you can manually extend and retract as needed might be the way to go. Honestly, if you have enough budget for window awnings throughout your whole house, I would consider extending your eaves if possible. From a thermal performance point of view, a roof will outperform a sunshade any day. I am the happiest homeowner in the world. Perhaps other people have said so before, but not with such justice. I'm happier even than Jane. She only shades ice green. Screens can be fixed, tilted, sliding, solid, perforated, or patterned. They can be full height fixed to windows or even set out from the windows or from the eaves all the way to the ground. They can also be incorporated into landscaping, patios, verandas, or attached directly to the facade. They do provide moderate solar shading depending on which material and design option you go with. But one of the biggest advantages is they are really versatile in terms of look, material, fixing, and design options. This makes a lot of them really great options for multi-story buildings. Sliding and tilting screens also give the added benefits of adaptability, so you don't have to be 100% accurate when deciding where is the best place for them to go. And if you attach some screens close to the windows and doors, then they do give the added extra level of security and privacy. They can also be in bigger spans, unlike some of the other options. This makes them great for large featured glass areas. And they could potentially be a great DIY project depending on which option that you go with, because most of them are prefabricated. Unfortunately, a lot of the benefits come down to what material and fixing option you go with, and they can be more expensive than other options. If you are using sliding or tilted options, then their maintenance will obviously be higher than the fixed options. And some might not be suitable for cyclonic or high wind areas, especially if you are in a coastal or a high salt environment. If you want to have fixed screens that are close to your windows, then you might be restricted by the type of window used so that you can actually open them without damaging the screen. You also have to be really selective about where they go, because once they're fixed, that's where they're staying. And unfortunately, with screens like this, it is very much a balancing act between heat gain and views. The more heat you block, the less you get to see. And don't use too many because you might start to feel like you're in prison. Overall, exterior screens are really versatile and an excellent option for multiple stories. But they can be super expensive, so if you're on a tight budget, I would use them only where you really need them, like on the top floor of a high-set home or incorporated into your outdoor patio or most used veranda. Most of the material options you can get for each of these exterior shading devices are the same as window frames. UPVC, aluminium, timber and steel are typically the ones you will see. I went through the cost, energy efficiency, sustainability and longevity of each of these different types of materials in another video. So if you know what type of external shading you want to use but you're unsure of what material is best, check out that video. The link is in the description. So now you've got all your exterior shading sorted. If you want to go all out and include interior shading, I suggest you subscribe and ring the bell because that's what we'll be covering next month. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found that helpful.